Welcome back to another episode of More BS.
I'm Chef Babette.
And I'm Shabnam. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about emotions.
Yeah.
Emotional abuse, actually. Because I feel like this is a topic that you at home, we here are feeling every day in little slivers of your life. Like, even if it's while you're driving and somebody's like yelling profanities at you out their car, how you handle that and how you observe what's happening around you is a big part of healing.
It is. And people don't understand that the way that we speak to one another, I don't know, it's very easy to be emotionally abusive for some people. What do you think?
I think there's this really fascinating study that they did where there were Chinese researchers that were taking a look at rice inside of vats of water. And they kept them in two separate rooms. Same exact conditions, same light conditions, the temperature of the water was the same. The only difference was how they were treating the rice or the vat of water, or the vat of rice filled with water. For 30 days in one room, the scientists would come in and speak loving words to them. Love, I love you, you're so beautiful, you're so wonderful. And in the other room, they were speaking terrible things like, you're terrible, I hope you die, you're worthless, really negative energy projected to it. Within 30 days, what you started to see is that the vat of rice filled in water that was getting love was still clear, it was robust, there was no elements of murkiness compared to the vat of rice of water that was being told negative thoughts. You could see that mold was forming.
Are you kidding me?
And the environment inside that water was nasty. And so I think that is a really big indicator of how much power your words have, because attached to them is energy.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. It's so true, though. Have you felt like you've been emotionally abused?
Oh my God.
Me too.
Well, I mean, we also think about 75% of your body is considered water content.
Right.
So if that could happen with just rice,
I know.
Think about what it happens to you where you have cognitive attachment to it, where you think about your dopamine receptors, where we think about serotonin, how you need oxytocin when you make contact and you touch someone. So all of these things get wrapped into how we start to process abuse or emotional abuse. And so I think emotional abuse happens not only in loving relationships, but they do happen in friend relationships.
Yeah, they do. They
do happen in work-related relationships and professional spheres. And so how many of you at home are having some sort of trauma that you're dealing with?
Well, what do you think, like, say, for instance, a friendship? And do you think it is the person's personality? Maybe your friend, best buddy, love this person to death. But every now and then, it's like, ouch, you said that to me? And you try to ignore it, but it bothers you sometimes. Do you think it's just that person's personality? Do you think you should check them every time it happens? Or do you think you chalk it up with that's who they are? What do you, how do you handle that?
Those are so good questions. And I think I want to use us as an example, because we went to Houston once for an event for Montgomery Wellness. And I had said something like, oh yeah, don't you know that that's just the way it is?
Let me tell you what she does. She does the duh. She does the duh thing.
Well, once Babette had let me know that bothered her, I really have been more conscious about not being that person.
Yeah, you really don't do
I don't do it anymore. Because I realize relationships are a form of respect. And even if I thought it was jovial and joking, it was not interpreted that way by her.
Right.
And as a respect for her, I can cork that shit. I don't need to be like that with her all the time. I can do that snarky sarcasm with my partner Baji, with my students, with my friends who are not feeling like that felt a little jagged.
Yeah, well, and especially she's a youngster. And look, I'm just now meeting her ass, right? And then she want to do the duh on me. I'm like, boo.
That doesn't work for me.
That I don't like that. Don't do that to me.
And so I think that goes back to parlaying to your question is like, do I check that person? Do I ignore it, chalk it up to who they are? Yes and no. I think checking someone doesn't have to be rude. It could be, hey, you said something and it kind of bothered me. It hurt my feelings a little bit.
And especially if you're in a friendship, a real friendship,
Right.
where you really care about this person. We
Right.
just met, but I really like you, but I can't handle that.
Right. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta check myself.
Right.
Like,
But then you have those people that's just exactly who they are. You like them, but if it's too much, you have to respectfully back away.
Yeah.
For your own health, right?
Mhm. And there's certain, like, you have to remember, people have certain characteristics that you may not love, right? Like, even my mom does things that I'm like, damn it, if you weren't my mother.
She's trying to motivate you to get done.
Yeah.
Because she feels like you can get it done.
And guess what? That's my shit. I'm so conflicted.
Right.
I'm so conflicted because I know she's right. And so what I'm doing is I'm avoiding her. I'm a terrible child. But what I'm trying to say is, even when you as the friend know something is better for the other person,
Right.
and you continuously force that opinion upon them, that shit's not going to be received until that person is ready to do the receiving. So you can force and smash and yell, but eventually it's going to have a repercussive effect where you want to protect your own peace.
That's true. That is so true.
Right?
Wow. That's deep.
But like, what if you're getting it from like an old ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend?
But then check this out. Before we go there, check
Okay.
this out. Don't you also have to know a little bit more about who you are? And I'm talking about not mommy trying to push you to do your thing, but I'm just talking about friends or boyfriends or husbands or whatever. Sometimes you have those people that don't feel good about themselves.
That's so true.
And they're constantly pointing the finger
They
at
project.
you. Always. They're constantly. But what about you? Don't you feel like if I know me better than that, shouldn't I take some responsibility and be able to ignore that? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can.
But it's hard sometimes
It's hard.
because we're affected by it. I can shed a tear like that.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is, I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And why do I allow it to bother me, especially coming from a specific person? I already know this person. I already know what they're going to... Why does it still bother me?
My question is like, but why do you still stay?
I get my damn rent paid and shit. Asking me no question like that. I'll stay because the bills are paid. No.
But this is like a trauma bond, right?
You're talking about for anybody that hangs. I mean, I don't know, Shab. This one is like.
And so that's all when we go where we're always so surprised when a person who's been abused physically or something in a
Right.
relationship, they keep on going back, what we call a trauma bond. Like you are attracted to the traumatic instances that are
a trauma bond
that are between the two of you. And so without that, we have a friend who I think, I'm not going to say names, who I think is definitely in a trauma bond relationship.
Really?
His partner is constantly abusive to him verbally. I'm not saying he's not guilty,
Right.
but this has been going on for years. And there's always anger, there's always tears, there's always frustration, there's a lot of lack of trust. And I'm like, why do you want to stay for that?
Huh?
Because I believe that this individual's past experiences, this individual's relationship with their mother was equally a traumatic experience. So when the mother was continuously abusive, hitting them, always speaking poorly to them,
Right.
but they were their source of love. Now their association with love and their partnership is, if that's not what's being given to me from my partner, then it's obviously not
It's
love.
not love.
Let me tell you, that's also not love.
Wow.
Love is kind, it's realness, it's honesty.
You don't want to inflict pain.
You
when
don't.
You love.
I don't want to hurt someone I
Right.
love. And
Mhm.
I think I've said this on a previous episode where I'm really good at maiming people with my words.
Right.
And I've, again, done a lot of work to ensure that I try not to do that because I know the power lies in me.
Right.
And I'm smart. And that's the thing. That's the responsibility of becoming a smart person, an intelligent person. Taking the ownership of that is on you.
Yes.
You can't lay the blame on everyone else.
And no matter how smart you are, how clever you are, kindness goes a long, long way.
Yeah.
A really long way. But wow, I love this topic because the whole emotional abuse thing, I know I have family members that they, like a spouse, just tries to find the most negative, horrible things to say to this family member of mine every single day. Just cruel for the sake of being cruel. And it sends them into a space, and it's hard for you to say anything to them. Well, you know you're not that. But I don't want to hear myself being put down every single day by the same person.
Right. I wouldn't either.
Ugh.
And you wouldn't want that for anyone else. So why would you inflict that upon others? Or why would you stay? Because there's some trauma attached to it. And that deserves some real scrutiny and some looking into. Which is why mental health, why seeking services, talking to someone is really important.
Yes.
And we hope that you could comment down below and share your experiences if you feel comfortable sharing them with us, because I just want you to know, we want you to know you're not alone here.
You're not alone.
You know some other shit that I heard about? Y'all are going to love this. It's called paper clipping.
Oof,
Have you heard about this?
They
paper
just
clipping?
taught me about paper clipping today.
They always come up with a new term, so I feel like I'm trying to
And what was
catch
the other
up.
term?
We had trauma bond.
Trauma bond, paper clipping, and the other one.
And gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
Well, y'all know about gaslighting.
I hear gaslighting all the time, but I had never heard of paper clipping.
So paper clipping is, y'all know what this is about. It's literally attaching someone as an option, as an opportunity, as a maybe. So let's say you break up with a significant other, and then 30 days later, you're on Instagram, you're like sending them a DM. Just so they remember that you are there and that you're thinking of them and you're wanting them, but you don't really want them. You're just bored. You just want to paper clip them to your pocket, just in case you want.
That is mean.
How many of y'all have done that?
Oh, paper clipping.
I think I've probably done that in the
You've
past.
done that?
Yeah, when my soul was damaged. I mean, seriously, like after my divorce, I went on a sex spree.
You did?
Well, I didn't have sex in my marriage. Like, that was a big part of why I was...
didn't?
Oh my God, it was a whole other thing. We were not intimate. And that's why I was getting sick. I got that cyclical vomiting syndrome because I had this neurological stress disorder because my husband and I were not intimate. He would not touch me.
What?
Yeah. So long story short...
Y'all, I didn't know this.
After all of that separation, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be out dating. Like, I did Bumble and like just met a bunch of people. And then I was like, after a date, I'm like, this is boring, you know. But then I wouldn't find anybody intriguing, so I'd be like, oh, I know so and so. Let me hit up so and so.
There it is.
But that guy was super into me and wanted to only date me, and I was like, maybe, not really. And that was so wrong.
That is wrong.
But I just wasn't emotionally in a space to be who I needed to be with that person. And what would have been responsible for me to do was to not contact him again. Because his emotions were involved in something, and I toyed with that. I paperclipped the shit out of him. And that is so messed up.
Oh, that is.
So I think we've all done it. Can I hear your paperclipping story?
Yeah, let's hear.
And then gaslighting, right? I want to end here because...
Yeah, please explain that.
Gaslighting. You know, I used to date this... I want to say he's a famous comedian actor, but he was famous in the 90s. He definitely wasn't famous when I was dating him. I hope he doesn't watch this and burn my house down. But this dude, damn, he was the king of gaslighting. And let me tell you something with this motherfucker did. Y'all really want to hear this?
I want to hear it.
I mean, oh God, I really hope my mom doesn't watch this. Okay. So this guy was a serial dater. Like, he met many women off the internet, you know, dating sites, and then I thought I was the only person he was dating.
You did?
Of course I ended because he made me feel like there was, how would he have the time? He's like, I got a kid, I got to do a couple of shows, I'm traveling, I'm on the road, but when I'm here, I want to see you, and I'll pick you up, and you can come to my house in Malibu, and then I have a house here, and so I was just swept off my feet because it was, again, right after my divorce. So I'm like, okay, guy that I think that has some financial fluidity.
Right.
He's famous.
Oh my God.
Ish.
Famous-ish.
But he would come over and then we'd like hook up and stuff, and I'd make him dinner, and then he'd be like, okay, I gotta go. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, where do you have to go? He's like, I don't want my son to wake up. I almost said his name. I don't want my son to wake up, without, I got to let the babysitter go. And then he would always come for very short, finite hours, like from 2 to 4 p.m. or just really random. But we would never, ever spend the night together. We would never travel together. And long story short, finally I was like, dude, what's going on? Like, and he would be like, why can't you trust me? Like, what is your doubt? Is this all this stuff from your previous relationship? Your ex-husband so damaged you.
He flipped everything.
And then he was fucking 9 other women all over town.
And he flipped all that stuff.
And he made me feel crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Made me doubt my initial emotional triggers. Like, why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling worried? Why am I having these red flags? He gaslighted the shit out of me. He made me feel like my feelings and my emotions were not valid. They were not rooted in any kind of evidence when they really were. And you want to know how I found out?
That's
okay,
crazy.
So mind you, he broke up. Something happened. We got in an argument. Not we got in an argument. He got in an argument. I said something that was like critical in terms of his behavior. Like, this is just not appropriate. You can't act this way. You're a 50-some-year-old man. And he flipped the fuck out. And like, was like, we're done. He like blocked me.
What?
He stopped following me on social media. He was notorious for handwriting letters. And so he would drop off letters at the house and be like, you really disappointed me. He would email me things like, we had such a great experience, but it's,
oh my God.
But he never officially was like, it's over. He kind of paper clipped me.
Oh,
left it open.
Kept you just hanging, sort of.
And then I saw 6 days later, after Valentine's Day, that he had another woman at his apartment in Malibu. And then even after we broke up, he would still show up at the house from time to time.
No, he would not.
I saved my Ring videos. And my partner was here. One time I was at work or something, and Baji had pulled in from the grocery store, and he was about to unload, and he looked over and he was like, is that?
No.
And then homie looked out the window at him, saw him, rolled up the window, and drove off.
That's scary, though. That's kind of creepy. Sorry.
Listen, this guy has some serious, power issues. I think, and here was the deal. That, when I was in love with this person, made me feel like, oh, he cares about my safety. Because I had, some weird stalkers at the time.
Right.
And so he would come by and he'd make sure that the neighbors knew that if anybody weird is driving around here, to let him know. He was just kind of roostering. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But he gaslighted the shit out of me.
I cannot.
And so another thing happened. So he'd done this to another girl. And that girl contacted me on Instagram.
No way.
And then we kind of became friends through a trauma bond because we got so fucked over by this guy. And that was a terrible friendship, by the way.
Hers and yours?
Yeah,
it was awful?
We were always arguing. She was a bit of an addict. And we were both not mentally fit and mentally stable, particularly together. It was a hot mess.
That sounds like a hot mess.
Yeah.
I do not want a friend I have to fight with.
So then that's when I realized, these people, I need to eliminate all of this. And then I went vegan, and I was like, I can't.
You grew up.
And I found that through my vegan journey, the emotional abuse, or what I allowed to abuse, the abuse in my life, just kind of lessened. But I did some crazy shit, y'all.
No, but we all, come on. As we're going through this life journey, we do some crazy shit.
I mean, you did crazy shit.
I did real crazy shit.
Yeah. And she's still alive at 17.
But the bottom line is, you learned. Listen to how you're speaking now about it and sharing. I'm sure somebody out there is going through this.
And I love how you say that in sharing, because when you don't, you have to think about, that's like more of the ego.
Right.
You're ego blaming others. You're
Right.
not taking any responsibility.
You have to.
And you project.
Right.
And you were saying you've been dealing with people that are projecting their own issues or fears on you.
For sure. All my life.
So what do you do about it now at 72?
Well, it's 72 now. And when I spoke to you about really knowing who I am, I always have to reel it in because I'm not running 100%. And even though I know certain things, sometimes I weaken and I fall victim.
Yeah.
And I know who I am. And certain things someone says about me that I know it does not apply to me, and I allow it to affect me. That's where you have to just really, really, really take a step back, calm down, and be like, what you do is you give away your moments.
You give away your power.
Your power,
Yeah.
your moments. And I'm constantly having to work on that. It's constant.
I love that you say that, because what triggers y'all? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe while you're at it.
Please subscribe.
But what triggers you? You want to hear what triggers me? I know this is so lame. It's the mean comments. It's the haters hating on the internet.
Even on the internet, I had to stop.
You get triggered.
No, let me tell you, I can get triggered. So what I do now is generally delete the comment and or block them.
Mm-hmm.
But at first when I was on this, I would be checking people up one side and down the other. I don't know who you think you're talking to. And especially the people that like to say, well, you can tell she's had work done. You can tell that she's had work done between her eyes.
Oh my God.
And then, now, Babette, the only work you've had
are your boobs.
Is my boob.
Oh my God.
But why?
Queen Laquifa said that on our comments here. By the way, Queen Laquifa, we're giving you a shout out. Make sure you subscribe to our channel since you continue to hate on her. She goes, I think that she says she hasn't had any work done, but those breasts don't look real. And I'm like, we literally said it on an episode.
We always say that the breasts are not real, but the bottom line is, Babette, why do you allow a total stranger that doesn't even know you,
yes,
that has never been in your presence, why would you take a comment? And because a lot of people will say, you don't have to answer to anybody on here. A lot of people will comment like that. And sometimes nowadays I'll comment and just say, you don't even know me. Why would you say that? You don't even know who I am. Why would you make a comment like that?
Yeah.
It's, for me, basically, it's a form of teaching. Don't say things about people that you don't really know. It's ugly. Yeah. It's really ugly. If I had work done in my face, I would say it.
She would tell you.
I don't have a problem with that. Anyway, yeah, it's about knowing yourself and not allowing people to steal your moments.
And so that's why I like, because I even told Baggio, I was like, maybe you should just screen the comments or not allow them. And I'm like, no, I want the comments. I want to see the positive stuff. But the negative stuff, I'm totally okay with deleting. And before you get on me about that, it's about disturbing my peace. It's our page. It is our environment. And we are inviting you in, not for your negativity. If you got something nice to say, say it. If you don't, we don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Because you disturb my peace, and I don't need that.
And we're not mean on here. This is not a platform where you can come and just be crappy and hateful and mean. First of all, do you even have titties? See, that's where I would go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that. So those kind of comments, I think we should delete them. I don't think those are nice. Just come and be a nice person. Don't come up in here trying to go hard like that. I don't like that. Somebody really said something about my
they did.
Yeah,
they're so nice.
Yeah, they're fake.
Yeah, but she had no chest before.
No,
but that's a whole different story.
No, I had nothing. But I was a runner.
Yeah.
I didn't really have to have a chest. I didn't have to have these.
And by the way, what about her chest has anything to do with you?
Well, but they have to. Some people just, the fact that how is she 72 and she still looks like that, and it bothers them because they don't.
Right.
And so they need to find something about you that is not authentic. Well,
Right.
she ain't all that. Look, she got fake this, she got fake that. And that, I guess it makes them feel better.
Listen, what you're doing is you're just abusing people. You're abusing people online, and you're abusing yourself. Taking that negative energy, putting it inside of your water content and spewing that out for the world to see only does you damage. The only person holding that weight is you, not anyone else.
Wow.
And so we hope we could just end it there. Just be kind to yourself.
Yes.
And join us again next time.
Bye.